Good Tuesday morning. When football season ends for most people, it turns into basketball season. And we have two huge stories from the world of hoops. Huge hoop stories this one. We'll tell you. One involves the most celebrated team in pro basketball. The other involves the most celebrated team in college basketball. We'll get to the latter here coming up in 30 minutes. There's an interesting situation going on with Duke that, of course, our Duke All-American and Wooden Award Player of the Year, Jay Williams, has some... I thought you were going to go with Boozer. The Prince of Duke basketball, as Key would tell him inside joke there. It's Keyshawn, Jay Williams.
Key, I like the sweater this morning. Is that magenta? What is that? The color's beautiful.
I don't know, something that was purchased.
Just laying around?
No, something that was purchased, man. I don't...
You called it salmon before the show.
I guess.
You are a healthy eater. You're a very healthy eater.
That's not a salmon.
No, it's not.
That's not a salmon.
It looks weird in different lighting. So, but I like
Zubin, you're the sweater connoisseur. What kind of color is that?
That is true. I am the sweater. Well, I can't really tell because I came in this morning for the first time it rained since I got glasses. And Key was just killing me because when I came in, my glasses were totally fogged up. I couldn't see anything.
No, I wasn't killing you because of that. I was killing you because, first of all, you didn't have an umbrella. So you come in, you nice wood floors that we have here.
In my defense, I walk under a bridge to get here, traversing homeless people left and right. But I do walk under a bridge.
But you come out of your house is not under a bridge.
But there's a ton of scaffolding. You know New York,
yes,
so I got to get to the scaffolding.
Yeah, but
and
still, you got to come out of it at some point. And
Zubin, do you have an umbrella?
I do have an umbrella, but unfortunately, it's at home.
So he forgot. He told me he forgot his umbrella, right, Jay? So... It's Zubin fashion. I'm like, oh, okay, he forgot his umbrella. So
I toughed it out, man.
He's soaking wet. He's dripping and coming down. Then he takes off the jacket and he folds it up against his chest. So I'm like, okay, you do realize there's water on that jacket. You're getting it all over your clothes.
You realize it's going to dry up like right away, though.
Still, no. And then he has his glasses. And I'm like, Zubin, your glasses. He put them on to read. And I said, Zubin, your glasses are wet. You have to dry them off. Oh, I'll get to a Key. Don't worry about it. Blah, blah. He still hasn't cleaned them off yet. I said, well, I guess we got to get some windshield wipers.
In my defense, last thing, I'm 42. I just got glasses like a month ago. So they told me the last thing you ever want to do, I don't know, you have great eyesight. I mean, you can see all the screen and all that. I know, Jay, you have worn glasses in the past. They always tell me, like,
don't jinx me.
Yeah, don't use your sweater. Don't use your shirt. Don't use anything that can.
You got to use the cloth.
Right.
You got to use the cloth.
So of course the cloth is at home with the glasses case.
Oh, geez.
So I have
with
to
the
tough
umbrella.
it out.
You can use a Kleenex.
With the umbrella.
Kleenex will be fine.
You think so?
Yeah, soft. It's really soft.
Okay, so the
little
residue.
Kleenex. Yeah, if they can get a little Kleenex deal for you, you'll be fine.
I can't even see you. Are you right there? I'm looking. I'm not sure.
I don't know how you're gonna miss me.
So here's the deal: the Lakers are gonna miss AD. Jay, I want to get your opinion on this because this is your sport, and again, bottom of the hour, what's going on with Duke? Another interesting perspective. Jay's got some insight on that. So we know the deal. AD 2 to 3 weeks. In that span of time, they are going to play the Nets, the Jazz, and the Blazers, three formidable teams in that span of time. And obviously, they'll look at it again, the calf strain after 2 to 3 weeks. What are your big concerns when it comes to an oft-injured guy at this place, this time, the defending champions?
A guy with the size and the weight of Anthony Davis, I'm concerned. I think, this has potential to be somewhat of a chronic injury. And the key word, the operative word, Zubin, was reassess. They're going to reassess in 2 or 3 weeks. It's not like, hey, 2 or 3 weeks, come back and play. Let's reassess. The reason why this is fascinating to me is a couple of years ago when KD tore his Achilles, I remember the next couple of days hearing Kendrick Perkins on First Take. And I know KP has a really good relationship with Rich Paul. I talk to Rich Paul all the time, too. Rich Paul represents multiple players on the Lakers roster. And Rich Paul said something so fascinating. He said, you know what? If LeBron ever has an injury like this, I'm not letting him play. Period. Well, Rich Paul also represents Anthony Davis. So my thing is now, LeBron James, 36 years old, how much weight does he need to carry on this team? Yes, and other guys will step up. Taylor Horton Tucker, yes. KCP, Kyle Kuzma, they have other guys that can fill in to a degree. But I would keep AD out a month. I'm not playing a guy with his size, his weight. Hey, let's go a month from now, then let's reassess. If you can have him back by April, middle April, May, like coming back and playing, fine, as long as he's healthy. But seeing the way KD handled this and trying to come back too early as they're trying to continue to have a home seed in the playoff run this year, which I think will be important for this team and LeBron James. I think that's going to be one of the most fascinating storylines to pay attention to, just every day how AD is doing and how he gets back into the groove and rhythm of playing.
Sitting in the second position right now in the West behind Utah and being 21-7, you give him as much rest as he needs, right? I mean, and I'm sure that the doctors out there, fine doctors and medical staff, as well as his own personal medical staff that he'll have that'll pay attention to what the injury is, because I'm not a doctor, so I don't know this, and I've never had an Achilles issue, so I don't know the significance of the injury other than it is a strain, and they're going to assess it in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I've also seen AD in other situations with other body parts say that he's going to miss significant time, and then he plays 2 days later. So I don't really know what this is. And I think that they will be smart with a guy who is a franchise player for them. They're not going to rush it back. They can hold it. They're not going to fall out of the playoffs and all of a sudden worry about the seeding at this point of time during the season. All-Star break. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes.
Keith, the only reason I get worried is because if AD were like a Nikola Jokic, a guy that played this, look, Nikola Jokic can play on the perimeter to knock down shots, but can play with his back to the basket, and for the most part, he's kind of around the paint area. Okay, I'm not as concerned. The fact that AD 6'10", 254 operates primarily on the perimeter, that's what makes me worried, because AD has a lot of that shake and bake in his bag. He has the handle, he can Euro step and get different places. And at that weight to put that kind of pressure on your joint when it's a high calf strain like that, it's just every time I see one of these high calf strains, I get extremely worried, because I was there. I was there with Kevin Durant. I went through all this where they're like, hey, you can come back and play. You're okay. And, guys try to come back on that. And right now for AD, I don't know, man. It makes you completely worried about a guy like that.
Anytime you see other superstars go down with similar injuries, you certainly will be worried about it. There's no question about it. But I think in this situation, based on what happened to Kevin Durant, which is the most recent superstar to have this sort of injury, they're going to be very cautious with how they bring AD along and bring him back. There's no question about it. They're not just going to rush him out there. When he's ready to go, they'll let him go.
And Jay mentioned Jokic. If you're unaware, Davis actually collided with Jokic. That's where the injury occurred Sunday night in the second quarter in that loss to Denver. We start the day with Anthony Davis's injury. Start the day brought to you by Indeed. Indeed helps you hire great people fast. Indeed.com/credit. So Jay gave us the perspective of how Davis's quote-unquote team should be feeling. His agent taking it slow, playing the long game, especially if you do it with the King. Why not do it with another client and the guy that's eventually going to take the mantle from the King? Totally makes sense. There's an 8-year gap between.
So what is he, the prince right now?
I don't know about that, Zubin. I don't know who's going to take the mantle from LeBron James. I
on
think
the
that's
Lakers?
A big question. No, just in general. And definitely
on the Lakers.
On the Lakers,
yeah, I think
it's going to be AD to a degree.
Lakers,
correct.
Right? Yeah, he's speaking to not the league.
I know, but I'm just saying, AD is a big man. He still need a dynamic guard to get you the ball and make everything okay. But I think that's a big question for the league moving forward. Who is the next? LeBron James is international.
Yeah, but for the Lakers,
LeBron James every day.
For the Lakers, it's AD.
Especially with the money that was spent, there's an 8-year gap. And also keep in mind, there was a 71 days between when the Lakers won the championship and the start of this particular season. So obviously you want to take it even slower there, even if you've got a guy that's in his 20s in the prime of his career, but as you guys have mentioned, oft injured. Still, they got less than 90 days between the start of winning the championship and their regular season. So these guys are still in some place getting into shape, right? So you got to kind of give them that opportunity.
Man, if they got out of shape in 71 days, something wrong.
But that's part. But isn't that part of the reason, Jay, that LeBron isn't playing as many minutes?
Agree. I know we have to break. I'll just say this, Zubin. I don't know down the line if I want Anthony Davis as my alpha on the team. I'll just say that.
Okay,
I'm taking him right now. So
that's fine, Key. That's fine. I watch games with you, Key. I know how you react to the screen.
Well, I didn't say he would be the only alpha. We could have two. We got a break.
Indeed. And the Lakers have paid him like he's going to be an alpha. That's for sure. On the way, one quarterback moved zip codes last season. So why are some saying he already needs to move again? and maybe move to a team that has eternally been looking for their quarterback. That's next after Key has this from Indeed.
If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Why? Because Indeed